Okay, so every time I come here, I never have anyone sit in the front row. So I'm going to bribe you to sit in the front row. From now on, when I'm here, only when I'm here, Eileen, you don't have to worry about this, or any of the guest speakers, I'm going to put a prayer request on this front seat. If you fill out this prayer request and hand it to me, I will personally do prayer for you for the entire week. So I'm offering you I know. Start praying, honey. Put your thing down. So from now on, these front seats have to be filled, okay? Are you good with me? Are we good? Okay, perfect. All right. The title of my talk today is Divine Order and Divine Disorder. And Kennedy Schultz, who was a minister in Atlanta, always said, never let a talk title get in the way of doing a good talk. Right? Oh, look, I've got prayer requests coming forward. See that? See, some churches have altar calls. I just put out prayer requests. Isn't that good? That's good. That's great. So divine order and divine disorder. You know what? If you think that we talk about how everything is right in the universe. Now they're fighting over, is this Taylor Swift? This is amazing. I got one more up here for a prayer. No, never mind. This is like Taylor Swift. Oh my God, I feel like a Swiftie. This is good. Give it to me, we're done. Where am I? Divine order, divine disorder. Okay, so everything in the universe, you know how we always say, everything is as it should be, right? You know how they say that? And everybody tells you that right when you're feeling your worst, right? Oh, but everything happens for a reason. Everything here is as it should be. And you're going, what the hell are you talking about? Because I find that my life is not in order. It doesn't feel right. But what we have to understand is that all the elements of being right exist in the universe. They're just in the wrong order at the moment. Ooh. I'm going to get electric things for your chairs. Okay, so just remember that all the elements for them to move into divine right order exist when you are feeling like things are in disorder. It's the time. That's the time when we really need to dig deep and go, okay, yes, while the appearances are in disorder, the truth, capital T, God's truth, is that it's moving its way into its divine manifestation and unfolding as it should be. And it's like baking. It's like baking a chicken. I want you to think about this. Sometimes you wouldn't bake a chicken. The chicken would never bake if you were always opening the oven to see if it's done, right? Is the chicken done? Is the chicken done? Is the chicken done? That's what we do in our brains when we're waiting for something to manifest. Is it happening? You wake up every day. Is it happening? You go to bed. Is it happening? It wakes you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So the idea of getting to this point is to say there is a divine order in the divine disorder. That's when you need to go to your meditation practice. That's when you need to go into this idea of coming into the center and taking classes and working your way into that spiritual realm so that you improve this all the time. So the monthly topic is zeal. Now I said to Eileen, zeal. I never have used the word zeal in my entire life. It was a vocabulary word when I was probably in third grade. That's the last time the word zeal has come to foot. But the talk title is Zeal. And Charles Fillmore said this, I fairly sizzle with zeal, energy, and enthusiasm, eager to do that which ought to be done by me today. Say that with me, please. I fairly sizzle with zeal, energy, and enthusiasm, eager to do that which ought to be done by me today. Woo! Can I hear an amen? Yeah, see, you people are on it. Look how crowded this church is. There is no better sound to a minister during a service than the sound of chairs being put out because there's no room. That is the best sound to hear. All right, so my inspiration for this talk, I was having trouble finding an inspiration for zeal, even though I read that from Charles Fillmore. So my Nana, I think I told you, if you've been here before, you heard that my Nana, my grandmother, is the one who got us into Unity in the 1960s. She started taking my family to the Unity Church of Flint, which is where I was born and raised and christened. When she died, I wanted her Bible, because in her Bible, she had all kinds of stuff dried flowers and prayer requests and things that she picked up during the course of her studies at Unity. And so I went upstairs and I got this Bible out and I thought, okay, maybe there's something, maybe Nana put something in here that speaks to this concept of zeal. And I swear to God this is true. I picked this up, and from 1951, this fell out of the Bible first. You ready? Oh, wait, I'm ahead of myself. Let's come back to that. I want you to hold that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go like this. There we go. I'll come back. Don't worry, I got it. There it is right there. This, on this card, is what it said. God fills me with zeal and enthusiasm. His wisdom guides my way. God inspires me and gives me the zeal, Gary witnessed this, gives me the zeal and enthusiasm to claim my good. God quickens my mind and gives me the zeal to claim health, vitality, and perfection. God stirs me to wise, diligent action, and abundance flows to me in all directions. I cannot make that up. That is the God's honest truth. It fell off. It was the first thing that came out of the Bible. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Nana, right? Because otherwise, I'd have been lost trying to put this talk together. So we're going to come back to that because I got too excited. And I'm going to go back to this. What keeps us from living a sizzling life of zeal, energy, and enthusiasm? What does keep us from living that kind of a life? One word: fear. False evidence appearing real. That's the acronym. False evidence appearing real. Fear multiplies everything by zero, creating the illusion that something which is really nothing attempts to fool the masses into believing that it's really something. That's what fear is. Fear. Fear multiplies everything by zero, creating the illusion. Don't fold that up. That's my Nana's. Did I get the card back? Okay, good. Okay, I had to get up early to drive here, so you've got to go with me at the caffeine rush. All right. Fear multiplies everything, creating the illusion, which is really nothing. All of my fears are really nothing because how many times have you feared something happening and you've thought about it? It wakes you up at night. You feel nauseous just thinking about the what ifs, if possible, this might happen. And 99% of the time, it never happens. But how much mental energy did you spend in fear, ruminating and getting sick and getting all upset and, breaking out in hives and yelling at your spouse and your friends? How many times have we done that? But it's coming out of nothing. It's a nothingness feeling that we grab onto because we've been trained to listen to what happens when the other shoe drops. We're not allowed to have a life that's always moving and forward because guess what? We were taught, don't get too cocky. Because you know what? That other shoe's going to drop. Bad things are coming. Gee, thanks, Grandma. I'm so glad you taught me that. That's my other grandma. She was Assembly of God. Yeah. Always a worthless sinner. Hey. Opportunity forever knocks at everyone's door. So this is what I wanted to get to. I was so excited about Nana's Bible. This phrase in the Bible from Malachi is something that I always use when I start to enter into fear. It's the one and only time that I feel like in the context of the Bible, someone, Malachi, whoever was there, whoever wrote this, threw down the gauntlet and said, prove me now. God is saying, prove me now. Prove me now if I will not open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, there shall not be room enough to receive it. That was what I actually said before I went up there. I'm like, prove me now, God, that something is going to inspire me in this moment and that it's going to come to me in such a way that it's just going to spill out and I'm not going to have to worry about it. But I had to make that claim on the universe. Prove me now. And then, boop, out comes the card. Now, that doesn't happen every time. I wish it did, because if it did, I'd be on a yacht somewhere, not talking here in church. But in times in trouble, prove me now that the storehouse of good is available to all of us, awaiting our recognition and our spiritual training to open the door so that it rushes in to greet us. Now, when I say rushes in, sometimes it rushes at glacial speed, and we don't see it because it's moving slowly, but the chicken is baking. Are you with me? All right. So this was that's what freaked me out, that whole 1951 from Lee Summit. All right, going on. So what inspired me from this, after I read that, is there's a company called the Island Company. Has anyone heard of the Island Company? Okay, by the way, this is all written down. I have all your notes for you in the back. Good deal. So the Island Company is this company, and on their tag, this is their tagline. This is what they promote. Quit your job. Buy a ticket, get a tan, fall in love, never return. Can I sign up for that? But see, I look at that stuff and I think, I could never do that. I don't have the guts to do that. Quit my job? Buy a ticket? I can do that. Get a tan, fall in love? That's sketchy. And never return? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to unpack it for us. And I'm going to put it in a spiritual terms so we can take that slogan or whatever they're using, branding idea, and we can do this for us. So quit your job. That doesn't mean go out and quit your job. How about this? It's only when the individual mind ceases combating itself that it will stop combating the outer conditions. Quit fighting the outer conditions in your head. They're taking up a lot of energy, and again, many times, none of that's going to unfold, because when one focuses on the prayer things that we've done, the attributes and things that we want to experience, then we don't have to worry about the things that are leaving our life. We're focusing on the things that should be gone when we should be focusing on the things that need to come in to replace the things that need to leave. Remember, we don't pray anything in, or we don't pray anything out. We pray the right stuff in. Out is a result of the right stuff coming in. Are you with me? So I love that idea. Quit your job just means quit battling this in my mind. Easier said than done. Have you ever noticed? It's real easy. I know people think it's real easy, but these 6 people said, I need prayer work. So they know. God bless you. You know that this takes some special work, spiritual work. Quit your job. Stop the conversation with pain. You know, some people have a lot of zeal and enthusiasm when they're sharing all their issues. They address their issues as passionately, and now when I say issues, I'm thinking about illnesses, bad relationships, financial conditions. They share them with such zeal and enthusiasm. And then they wonder why the law of attraction is at work, bringing more of the same stuff that they're excited about. Quit the conversation with pain. Remember, you're not walking alone. Sometimes it may feel like you're walking alone, but there is a presence with you all times, guiding, sustaining, maintaining you. If you can close your eyes long enough to get there and focus on that Om moment, you can focus on that energy of the universe, knowing that it's moving you in the right direction. Nothing has ever come into your life uninvited. Nothing has ever come uninvited into your life. I don't like that one. Because I would like to think that, I don't know, Trey, don't listen. My in-laws weren't really invited, you know. Certain people didn't come into my life uninvited, but yes, they were, because I invited certain people into my life, and that consequently brought them into my life. Things that seem to be uninvited, it seems like wherever trouble existed, I was there when it happened. I was the common denominator. It didn't just get thrust upon me. Somehow I volunteered for it. I signed a contract. I bought it. I slept with it. I drank it. I did it. Take that responsibility. When you run away from disagreeable situations, they run right after you. You know that idea of closing the chapter, right? Closing the chapter is essential. When you heal and you go through a healing process, make sure you don't just turn the page, you get rid of the book. Not even close the chapter. Get a new book. Because if not, those chapters they weave, the storyline weaves its way back into your life, and you wonder why you're in the same position. Because you didn't fully release it and let it go. Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket. Merely to abstain from wrong thinking is not enough. There must be active right thinking. Say that. Active right, try again. Active right thinking. We must become actively constructive and happy in our thinking, not merely passively so. In other words, this idea of, there's money in my wallet. You look in your wallet, not there. All the problems of the world are gone. Nope, they're still there. That's passive. That aligns you with the vibration of the universe, but it doesn't move the universe and its thoughts to create something good in your life. That is what you have to do. That's the message that we send the universe. Remember I talked about what God's will for us is? God's will is 7 empty pages in a book, waiting for you to fill it in. And then once you fill that in, the universe conspires to create an opportunity or scenario so that it will manifest in your life. Don't leave it up to some arbitrary thought, because your arbitrary thoughts are still heard by the universe, and usually they're negative, which is saying, I'm going to continue to experience the negative because my thoughts are continuing in the negative. Are you following me? All right? So, active right thinking. Next one, get a tan. Okay, how do we do that? To live by inspiration means to feel the presence of God in our everyday experiences, to enter into the spirit of things, to enter into the joy of living. It's interesting that was something I think you said, Jesse said during our meditation, that we were here to experience the joy of life when we're here today, and the gratitude. To enter into the joy of living. Get a tan, which means just change it. Because almost like a tan, like you get outside, it changes your whole body composition when you shift into looking for the presence of God in everyday experiences and seeing them. Analyze the mistakes. You've already paid the tuition. You might as well learn the lesson. Right? And when I say analyze your mistakes, take a look at them. Don't focus on them, because then you're trying to drive a car forward by looking in the rear view mirror. Have you ever heard that? That's why the rear view mirror is this big and the windshield is this big, because you're supposed to spend this much time looking back and this much time looking forward. Okay? Life is full of hard knocks, but answer them all, because one's going to be the opportunity. You know, through some of my most difficult times that I've walked through in my life and that I've seen other people walk through those most difficult times seem to be the times when they grow the most. You don't know it at the time, because it doesn't feel like divine disorder. It feels like chaos and disorder. But when it does pass, and this too shall pass, right? Dr. Tom, my teacher, always used to say, you know, it says in the Bible, this too shall pass. Well, just don't build a condo there. Keep moving, right? So if you build a consciousness of taking it and claiming ownership of it, it won't leave. But once you understand the idea that this is going to move through my experience, then you can go through those hard knocks knowing that there's opportunity that exists somewhere on the other side. And when we know it, it shows up. And when we look back on it, we go, okay, I'm glad that happened. It woke me up to something. Fall in love. Not the kind of love I'm talking about. There is a power greater than you and I, that knows where the supply is for every demand. Trust it. Keep your poise. Give it the right of way. God guides me, but I do the work. That's my idea of falling in love. Not the kind of love that you're talking about romantically. I'm talking about the kind of love you have for your own life. The kind that you claim for your own life, and understand that there is a power greater than you and I that has a supply for every demand. There's no scarcity in the universe. Can you say, honestly, God is lack? God is sick? God is poor? God is dysfunctional? That doesn't feel right, does it? So wherever the supply is infinite, all it takes is for me to open the door, open the storehouse of good, and you won't be able to take it all. Prove me now. God guides me, but I do the work. Again, it doesn't arrive via FedEx to your door. You have to do the work. Never return. People don't grow old through the years. They grow old by losing identities. We grow physically old, I'll give you that, right? But I know people that are in their 40s that are really 90, right? They've given up. They've stopped looking for the good. They've stopped trying new things. They're content with Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, and they're not even going for the trips and the things that they could do to expand their life. The word no doesn't grow. When you say no, you just took all the growth out of that opportunity. The only word that really grows is the word yes. Right? Ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets inside of them. Moral of the story, don't let what is happening around you get inside of you and weigh you down or tip you over. It's called that spiritual shield. And sometimes I have to think of it in those terms. When I'm in the hospital and I'm visiting someone, or myself actually, when I'm in the hospital, I've had a couple heart attacks. Don't go there. No, I don't need your advice about my heart. But thank you. Namaste. They say namaste and now must go. I would create a spiritual shield around me, so if I was going to visit someone in the hospital and I knew what I was going in for, IV fluids, machines working, the person maybe not looking like themselves, chaotic, the energy there, panic in the family, and I would have to shield myself up in a spiritual shield, knowing that my energy was really important, and it was my job not to tap into their energy, but to bring my energy. My job wasn't my job was to hold their hand, but also create a vibration of some sort of, not even hope, a knowingness that divine right action, no matter what it is taking place right here and right now. Divine right action is taking place right here and right now. And now, divine right action is difficult for some because when you have someone that's about to make their transition, sometimes the healings don't happen the way we choreograph them in our mind. Sometimes people make their transitions and you say, well, how come their healing didn't happen? Was their belief not strong enough? No, nothing like that. The universe doesn't punish us like that. It was just going to make a healing on a different spiritual level. One that when you understand it and start to grasp the idea of it, I take great comfort that when someone makes their transition, the loving hands that were here to greet me are going to be the loving hands of my Nana greeting me in the next experience. So my healing is going to come wherever I'm at, either here or there. So I have to share with you an experience real quick because I'm running a little bit late. A couple weeks ago, I went to the Pompano Church, and I met this amazing woman. She came in kind of late, but she had this regalness about her, and I thought, oh, I like her. She had great shoes, too. I love shoes. And she had this regalness about her. And at the very end of the service, she said, oh, my God. Someone introduced us and said, this is Reverend Joe. She said, this is Reverend Nancy. She's the minister in Delray, or used to be years ago. And I went, oh, my God, how cool. Nice to meet you. And I knew something. She had a vibe. She brought the vibe. And Trey and I just fell in love with her immediately, and she was like talking with us. She said, oh, I want you to come talk at my church at Port St. Lucie, and there's a podcast that I want you to do with my friends in LA on Saturdays. You know, she was like giving me all these things. She took my number. She left a lovely message, left a lovely text. We're going to get to lunch on Thursday. On Wednesday, I get a call from Paul. She had a brain aneurysm and died. And I thought, okay, what's the message in this? First off, may we all go so quickly. Amen. Painlessly. Amen. Because she was flowing. She said, I found my church. She had found her church in Pompano. We were going to all go to church together. We were going to join the church together as a sign of the public support for the new minister. And so we were totally committed to that. And then I thought, she just disappeared. I was just getting to know her. Why did this happen? And then I realized she probably didn't even know this, but she had already invited me to go to the church where she was speaking that she was no longer going to be able to speak at. She was inviting me to be on a podcast that she was no longer going to be able to attend and be on. And so she opened those doors. Who knew? And I don't think she knew, but it's something that when you trust the universe, you can see the message in something. We met. I loved her. I fell in love with her. She gave me all these jobs. She said, "Come do this and do this and do that." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." But then it was like she got those off of her plate. So when she made her transition, things were off her plate. So you look at situations like that and you go, divine right action. It wasn't divine disorder the way it felt when I found out. It was actually divine order. All right, last things. That was the note. God fills me with zeal and enthusiasm. His wisdom guides my way. God inspires me and gives me the zeal and enthusiasm to claim my good. God quickens my mind and gives me the zeal to claim health, vitality, and perfection. God stirs me to wise, diligent action, and abundance flows to me in all directions. So I have all of this, all of my notes are written out in the back. When you leave, grab one of the handouts. And this, I highly recommend that this week, this be your affirmations for the week. Because it didn't just fall out of the Bible randomly. It didn't fall out of my Nana's book randomly. It fell out because it was something that myself and maybe someone else needed to hear today. And so end your lesson. Thank you.